An inch is a unit of length in the imperial and United States customary systems of measurement. Historically, an inch was also used in a number of other systems of units. Traditional standards for the exact length of an inch have varied in the past, but since July 1959, when the international yard was defined as 0.9144 meters, the international inch has been exactly 25.4 millimeters. There are 12 inches in a foot and 36 inches in a yard. Usage. The inch is a commonly used, customary unit of length in the United States, Canada, and the United Kingdom. For the United Kingdom, guidance on public sector use states that since the 1st of October 1995, without time limit, the inch is to be used as a primary unit for road signs and related measurements of distance and may continue to be used as a secondary or supplementary indication following a metric measurement for other purposes. The international standard symbol for inch is in, but traditionally the inch is denoted by a double prime, which is often approximated by double quotes, and the foot by a prime, which is often approximated by an apostrophe. For example, 3 feet 2 inches can be written as 3 feet 2 inches. Subdivisions of an inch are typically written using dyadic fractions with odd number numerators. For example, 2 3/8 of an inch would be written as 2 3/8, and not as 2.375, nor as 2 6/16. Equivalence to other units of length. 1 international inch is equal to 1000 thou, 0.027777 yards, 2.54 centimeters exactly, 72 postscript points, 100 points, as used by the Australian Bureau of Meteorology for measuring rainfall before 1974. Etymology. The English word inch comes from Latin uncia, meaning 1/12th part. The word ounce has the same origin. The vowel change from U to I is umlaut. The consonant change from C to CH is palatalization. In many other European languages, the word for inch is the same as or derived from the word for thumb, as a man's thumb is about an inch wide. For example, Catalan, polzada inch, polsa thumb, French, poucher inch, thumb, Italian, pollis inch, thumb, Spanish, pulgada inch, pulgar thumb, Portuguese, pulgada inch, pulgar thumb, Dutch, duim inch, thumb, Afrikaans, duim inch, thumb, Swedish, tum inch, tumma thumb, Danish and Norwegian, tomma inch, inches and tommel thumb, Czech, palek inch, thumb, Slovak, palek inch, thumb, Hungarian, havalik inch, thumb. History. The earliest known reference to the inch in England is from the laws of Ethelbert dating to the early 7th century, surviving in a single manuscript from 1120. Paragraph LXVII sets out the fine for wounds of various depths: 1 inch, 1 shilling, 2 inches, 2 shillings, etc. Gifmanthia thirstingth, stisagwil visalingas. Gifferofer ynce, silling, aettwam income, twegan, ofer 3, i.e. seal. An Anglo-Saxon unit of length was the barley corn. After 1066, 1 inch was equal to 3 barley corn, which continued to be its legal definition for several centuries, with the barley corn being the base unit. One of the earliest such definitions is that of 1324, where the legal definition of the inch was set out in a statute of Edward II of England, defining it as 3 grains of barley, dry and round, placed end to end, lengthwise. Similar definitions are recorded in both English and Welsh medieval law tracts. 1, dating from the first half of the 10th century, is contained in the laws of Howell DDA, which superseded those of Dyfnwal, an even earlier definition of the inch in Wales. Both definitions, as recorded in ancient laws and institutes of Wales, are that 3 lengths of a barley corn is the inch. King David I of Scotland, in his Assize of Weights and Measures, is said to have defined the Scottish inch as the width of an average man's thumb at the base of the nail, even including the requirement to calculate the average of a small, a medium, and a large man's measures. However, the oldest surviving manuscripts date from the early 14th century and appear to have been altered with the inclusion of newer material. Charles Butler, a mathematics teacher at Cheam School, in 1814 recorded the old legal definition of the inch to be 3 grains of sound ripe barley being taken out the middle of the ear, well dried, and laid end to end in a row, and placed the barley corn, not the inch, as the base unit of the English long measure system, from which all other units were derived. John Bouvier similarly recorded in his 1843 Law Dictionary that the barley corn was the fundamental measure. Butler observed, however, that the length of the barley corn cannot be fixed, so the inch according to this method will be uncertain, noting that a standard inch measure was now kept in the Exchequer Chamber, Guildhall, and that was the legal definition of the inch. This was a point also made by George Long in his 1842 Penny Cyclopedia, observing that standard measures had since surpassed the barley corn definition of the inch, and that to recover the inch measure from its original definition, in the event that the standard measure were destroyed, would involve the measurement of large numbers of barley corns and taking their average lengths. He noted that this process would not perfectly recover the standard, since it might introduce errors of anywhere between 1/100th and 1/10th of an inch in the definition of a yard. Scottish inch. The now obsolete Scottish inch, 1/12th of a Scottish foot, was about 1.0016 imperial inches. It was used in the popular expression "gi him an inch, and he'll tak an ell." In English, "give him an inch and he'll take an ell." First published as "For when I gave you an inch, you took an ell" by John Hayward in 1546, was in use in England until 1685. The modern version of the saying is, "Give him an inch and he'll take a mile." Continental inches. Before the adoption of the metric system, several European countries had customary units whose name translates into inch. The French poucher measured 2.70 centimeters, at least when applied to describe the caliber of artillery pieces. The Amsterdam foot consisted of 11 Amsterdam inches. The Amsterdam foot is about 8% shorter than an English foot. Modern standardization. In 1959, the International Yard and Pound Agreement defined the international yard as 0.9144 meters, and the imperial and U.S. yards were redefined accordingly. This resulted in the internationally accepted length of the imperial and U.S. customary inch being exactly 25.4 millimeters. The international inch is 1.7 millionths of an inch longer than the old imperial inch, and 2 millionths of an inch shorter than the U.S. inch. Before the adoption of the international inch, various definitions were in use. In the United Kingdom and most countries of the British Commonwealth, the inch was defined in terms of the imperial standard yard. The United States adopted the conversion factor 1 meter equals 39.37 inches by an act in 1866. And in 1893 Mendenhall ordered the physical realization of the inch be based on the International Prototype Meters Numbers Chapter 21 and 27, which had been received from the CGPM together with the previously adopted conversion factor. In 1930 the British Standards Institution adopted an inch of exactly 25.4 millimeters. The American Standards Association followed suit in 1933. By 1935 industry in 16 countries had adopted the industrial inch, as it came to be known. In 1946 the Commonwealth Science Congress recommended a yard of exactly 0.9144 meters for adoption throughout the British Commonwealth. This was adopted by Canada in 1951. This gives an inch of exactly 25.4 millimeters. However, the United States retains the 139.37 meter definition for survey purposes, creating a slight difference between the international and U.S. survey inches. The difference is 2 millionths of the U.S. survey inch. This is approximately 1/8 inch in a mile.